On the India 2013 budget, did it live up to your expectations?
I think we're still digesting exactly what the finance minister is saying. He's still obviously on his feet. But the early indications, talking to our traders just before I left the office just now, are that certainly spending in this year seems to be a little bit more than, a little bit better than expected. But for the coming year, the 4.8% fiscal deficit that he's talking about is a little bit higher than what they would have liked. The equity markets, as a result, selling off about 0.5%. The bond market also selling off a little bit, just about 3 basis points higher. I think what people want to hear is exactly how the revenue is going to be raised given the increase in spending. But it does, at this moment at least, given what we've heard so far, appear to be a populist budget with a lot of positive measures.
Non-planned expenditure has been increased and the fiscal deficit target has been stated at 4.8% for fiscal year 2014 and 5.2% for fiscal year 2013. How do you view this? Are you happy with the quality of spending?
Well, it's obviously going to depend on how much is spent on recurring subsidies and how much is actually spent on other things. Like I said, we need to await more details about this. But certainly 5% is being viewed as the line in the sand for India in terms of the fiscal deficit. 4.8% means that there's going to have to be fairly tight control over spending over the next year or so to try and meet that target. And if there's any sort of fiscal slippage, then there's not going to be a huge amount of room to be able to get that number back down again.
Does a reduction in the revenue deficit target for fiscal year 2014 from 3.9% to 3.3% meet your expectations?
Again, we're going to have to we're going to have to look at the details, see what the revenue is actually going to be coming from. There have been some measures that have been announced, but so far they seem to be not particularly dramatic. I think I saw something which put a surcharge on the income tax of wealthy persons. But we need to hear more from the finance minister. We'll probably have a better view of it once we're able to digest what he's saying. But I think the initial view is that probably not as much as what we'd expected, with some risk potentially that there could be some fiscal slippage at some point.
Do you expect global markets to rally from here on, or will it be a non-event by tomorrow?
I think the broader trend for markets is really going to be determined by what's going on internationally. It's been interesting that India has been actually one of the worst performers, at least in the last month or so. Despite large amounts of foreign inflows coming into the market. So a fair amount of domestic selling is happening in the markets. One of the interesting features was that if you look at the ratio of puts over calls, we were actually finding that that ratio has fallen to somewhere like 1-year lows. So there was a lot of call buying that was done as the market's been falling. We think that as this has been absorbed, it will probably be a much longer term impact as to how things play out. I think the interesting thing from this budget is really going to be whether the deficit reduction gives the RBI enough confidence to talk about cutting rates again. And I think that is probably going to be more of an impact on equity markets going forward than what we have at the moment.